Some stories don't start with blood. They start with love. Or, at least something that pretends to be love. And everyone believed it. Dee Dee Blanchard, the angel mom. The caregiver. The woman everyone said was so strong and so inspiring. And then there was Gypsy. Small. Frail. Soft voice. Looked like life had already hit her with every bad card in the deck. Leukemia. Muscular dystrophy. Seizures. Allergies to half the planet. Couldn't walk. Couldn't eat real food. Oxygen tank. Feeding tube. Wheelchair. A pharmacy of meds. That's what Dee Dee told everybody. And people ate it up. Churches helped. Charities donated. Disney trips. Meet and greets. Free flights. A custom-built house from Habitat for Humanity. Like, literally brand new and fully accessible. From the outside, this was a faith in humanity restored story. But inside the house? Yeah, no. This wasn't love. This was control. This was manipulation on boss mode. Because here's the thing. Gypsy wasn't actually sick. Not like that. Most of those conditions never existed. But Gypsy had no idea. Because when your own mother tells you something since day one, that becomes your reality. And Dee Dee was running the entire show. She shaved Gypsy's head so people assumed cancer. She forged medical records. She Dr. Hopped if anyone asked too many questions. She forced Gypsy to use a wheelchair even though she could walk. Perfect performance. Perfect sympathy. She told Gypsy, "The world is dangerous. I'm the only person you can trust." And Gypsy believed her. But here's the thing about quiet kids. Just because someone looks fragile doesn't mean they are. Under the stuffed animals and the giant glasses and the baby voice, something was growing. Curiosity, doubt, and eventually, fear. And when fear turns into desperation, it can turn into something else. Something darker. Something that crosses a line you can't ever go back from. And that's exactly where the story is headed. Because one day, Gypsy did something nobody expected from the sweet little wheelchair girl. And when police walked into that pink house, everything flipped. This wasn't a heartwarming story anymore. This was a crime scene. So yeah, everyone thought Gypsy needed 24/7 care. But she was living a double life. For real. You read that right. While Dee Dee was out there playing the perfect, saintly mom, Gypsy was sneaking around online like a ghost. Forums, social media, chat rooms, even dating apps. The wheelchair girl. Suddenly texting, posting, planning, scheming. And here's the wild part. Nobody outside that pink house had a clue. Gypsy met someone online, a dude named Nicholas Gojan. Creepy? Yeah, kinda. Weird. Definitely. But that's not the point. The point is, he was the only person she could trust. The only one who didn't see her as sick little Gypsy. So they started talking. Late nights. Secret chats. Messages like whispers through a storm. It was about freedom. Life. Escaping. And eventually, it was about killing Dee Dee. Whoa. Yeah. That escalated fast. See, Gypsy was trapped. And the world. Totally blind to it. Doctors, nurses, neighbors, charity workers. Everyone bought the sick kid act. Dee Dee had built a reality bubble so tight, Gypsy could barely breathe. But online, Gypsy was alive. Thinking. Planning. Plotting. And here's where it gets twisted. Some messages were casual. Hey, what's up? Others? Dark. Deadly. You're the only one who can help me. I need out. I can't take it anymore. She's gonna kill me. And Nicholas? He said yes. Yes to the unthinkable. That's the thing about online schemes. They feel like fantasy. Late-night typing. Screens glowing. Whispering secrets to someone you think gets you. Detached from reality, right? Wrong. Gypsy's plan? 100% real. Nicholas? Ready to make it happen. Dee Dee? Had zero clue. Her sweet little girl was plotting behind her back. Weeks went by. Planning. Messaging. Psychological chess. Every move calculated. Neighbors still waved. Church volunteers still brought food. Doctors still nodded and said, "She's improving." Meanwhile, the girl in the wheelchair was planning a murder. But here's the kicker. Gypsy wasn't a hardened criminal. She was a kid trapped in a cage of lies. And what happens when a kid like that finally snaps? The online life was the spark. The isolation, the abuse, the constant lies, that was the fuel. In the quiet hours, behind the walls of that pink house, the plan solidified. It wasn't just about escape. It was about ending the nightmare. And the night it went down, no one saw it coming. Once Dee Dee was gone, everything changed. The world was about to learn. The story everyone believed was a total lie. And Gypsy Rose? She was no longer the sweet little girl in the wheelchair. She was the center of the most twisted crime of 2015. It was just another chill night in that sleepy Louisiana hood. You know the type. Crickets chirping, neighbors out cold, street lamps humming like nothing's up. Except this night, yeah, nothing was going to be normal again. Gypsy Rose Blanchard had spent weeks building up guts. Watching, waiting, thinking, calculating every move. And Nicholas, dude was locked in, ready to play his part. Dee Dee, upstairs, probably scrolling her phone, probably thinking she still ran the show. The perfect mom. The hero everyone fawned over. But control? That's a straight-up illusion. 'Cause when Gypsy came downstairs, everything went sideways. Nicholas hit the plan to the T. And Dee Dee, well, she didn't even stand a chance. Police reports later described the scene as pure chaos. Blood. Furniture flipped. Signs of struggle everywhere. Neighbors? Heard nada. No screams. No alarms. Just that eerie silence, like a shadow had smothered the house. And here's the kicker. Gypsy didn't bail right away. She called 911 herself. Yeah, the girl who schemed her mom's murder was the one to find the crime. Playing scared, panicked, fragile, totally convincing. She told the operator, "Someone broke in and shot my mom. I don't know what to do." And the world bought it. Neighbors, cops, the media, everyone. Genius. Terrifying. When the authorities showed up, they found Dee Dee dead. And Gypsy, sitting there, shocked, terrified. The sweet little girl in a wheelchair. Except she wasn't really innocent. Evidence started trickling in. Messages. Online chats. Nicholas spilling the tea. The plan. The double life. The desperation. Suddenly, Gypsy wasn't just a victim. Or was she? That's the wild thing about this case. Truth ain't simple. Dee Dee Blanchard, abusive, controlling, full-on manipulative. She faked Gypsy's illnesses, kept her locked in a world of lies and fear. But does that make murder okay? The internet went absolutely nuts. Headlines screaming, "Girl kills mom, self-defense or murder? Abuse or homicide?" The Gypsy Rose case. People went off online. TikTok blowing up with theories. Reddit threads dark as hell, dissecting every detail. And Gypsy, she became a symbol of abuse, a symbol of rebellion, a symbol of how far someone can go when trapped in lies their whole life. But here's the wildest part. The story didn't end with that first shocking twist. Nicholas got arrested. Gypsy got charged. Trials, courtrooms, media circus. And the deeper people dug, the more horrifying it got. Sometimes the monster isn't who you think it is. Sometimes the victim has to do the unthinkable just to survive. Gypsy's story? No longer about sickness. No longer about a sweet little girl. It was survival, manipulation, secrets so dark they'd make your head spin, and murder, and the world. We were just waking up to the truth. After the chaos, the courtroom became the next battleground. Gypsy Rose Blanchard wasn't just a girl who killed her mom anymore. She was a headline, a debate, a symbol of twisted survival. The trial began, and the world watched. News cameras, podcasts, TikTok recaps, Reddit theorists. Everyone had an opinion. And the story? It was messier than anyone imagined. Gypsy's defense argued that she'd been brainwashed, abused, and manipulated for her entire life. Dee Dee's lies, the fake illnesses, the constant control, it wasn't just abuse. It was a psychological prison. The prosecution? They painted her as a cold-blooded murderer, someone who plotted and executed a plan to kill her own mother. Twist after twist came out in court. Doctors testified that many of Gypsy's illnesses never existed. Neighbors revealed Dee Dee's manipulative ways. Text messages and online chats with Nicholas were shown, proving the plan had been plotted. But here's the thing. Even with all this evidence, people didn't know what to feel. Sympathy, outrage, confusion. And that's exactly what made this case so viral. No one could easily label Gypsy as good or evil. The jury finally came back with the verdict. Gypsy pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison. The twist. Despite the crime, many supported her, believing she had been a victim for so long that the act was an inevitable escape from abuse. Online communities, documentaries, even a few celebrities voiced empathy. But the story doesn't end there. Gypsy's release from prison brought a new chapter. She moved quietly, staying off the radar, trying to rebuild a life stolen from her by lies and abuse. Nicholas, he received life in prison without parole, a stark reminder that the helper in her escape plan paid the ultimate price. The media, still obsessed. Reddit threads, podcasts, documentaries. People still debate the ethics, the psychology, the morality of the Gypsy Rose case. Here's the lesson that shook America. Sometimes victims are forced into unthinkable choices. Sometimes the line between right and wrong isn't just blurred, it's erased entirely. And sometimes the truth behind a perfect life is darker than you could ever imagine. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's story isn't just about murder. It's about control, deception, survival, and human complexity. It's a case that haunts the mind, sparks endless debate, and reminds us all. Not every monster wears horns. Sometimes the monster is the one who raised you. And sometimes the hero is the one you least expect. The story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard will live on in documentaries, true crime channels, and heated discussions for years. Because it's messy, it's shocking, it's tragic, and it's undeniably human.